Dr. Namrata Agrawal for most creative slogan. Miss Twinkle Agrawal, Miss Tuti Rungta, and CA Kavita Gupta. Priyanka Asawa for fastest correct answer. Dr. Namrata Agrawal for most creative slogan. Big round of applause.
At FICCI FLO Indore, we believe ideas are seeds of change.
But for seeds to grow, they need the right soil, care, and direction. That's exactly what our Business League provides, a platform where ambition meets action. It starts with a vision, an entrepreneur's first bold step to apply. Through careful selection, we identify not just potential, but courage and commitment. Then comes the magic. Each mentee is paired with a mentor, refining models, sharpening pitches, and polishing every detail until the business story shines. What you will witness today isn't just a pitch, it's the result of hard work, guidance, and determination. These are the stories of courage and transformation. Let's begin. Our first mentee brings design alive with over a decade of experience, creating homes that reflect people, not just plans. With projects for Nika and First Cry, she is the creative mind behind Shelly Interiors. Please welcome Shelly Ahuja Kalra.
So ladies, won't you all be really excited getting into new homes or designing, renovating your houses? I think you would. But would you be equally excited about the process? Think about vendor management, contractors, following up for payments, following up for work, and so many things to do. I think that settles your excitement. Hi, I'm Shelly Ahuja Kalra, co-founder at Shelly Interiors, and I'm here to solve all these problems for you. At Shelly Interiors, we create timeless homes, homes that truly reflect you. Our core expertise lies in residential designs, starting from layouts, 3D views to complete execution. Along with this, we are also into commercial interiors. We provide execution and designing services for commercial spaces like offices and retail stores for brands like Nika, First Cry, Linamar, and many more. Having 10 plus years of experience and hundreds of projects finished, we have grown with every project. Every project has taught us how to build reputation for trust, timelines, and unique designs. And here's what sets us apart. It's not only designs. We manage the complete journey for you. No more chasing electricians, contractors, worrying about payments, vendors, management, etc., etc. We do that all for you. We bridge the gap between you and everything happening on site so that you can sit back, concentrate on your work, and we concentrate on ours. And the best part is, by working through us, you save 30 to 40% on most materials as compared to buying them directly, thanks to our trusted vendor networks. And that's why we say we provide premium facilities, services without the premium charges. Because we know the house you think of is not only about walls and furnitures. It is the emotion you build. So, if you are building or renovating your house or know anyone is doing that, please connect with us. And where to connect? जहाँ सब मिल जाते हैं अभी, Instagram. You can follow us for design and project updates on Instagram at Shelly_interiors. You can scan the QR code to follow us. Thank you so much for your attention and patience. Thank you, FICCI FLO, for the opportunity.
Now it's time for our next mentee, who is shaping the future through education and empowerment. As president of Argya Educational Welfare Society, she champions happy childhood, conscious parenting, and teachers training, impacting parents, educators, and women across communities. Please welcome Garima Dahima.
Good evening. Yeah, thank you for replying. So I keep on meeting women every day. And most of them, they say the same thing. that they are tired. I don't know if it's the same story with you, but every woman, they say me. And they are not only tired with their body physically, but their heart also. They are giving so much to their families, to their friends, to the work, to the responsibilities, that there is nothing which is left for themselves. And that's why I established Argya. Since 25 years, I'm working with women at different stages of their life. And I started as a mother-toddler program, which is now evolved into Garb Sanskar. I experimented with international school education also. I am a pan-India teacher's trainer. And this Arg is still a puppetry, a storytelling studio. And now, Arg has its own space, a space for every woman to come, pause, breathe, and just be. I am Garima Dahima, and I don't teach women. I just walk with them. I walk with them to support them, to balance and gain confidence so that they can live their life authentically. Because I believe people need people, I need you, and you also need me. And women, they really do need each other to support, to cry, to laugh, to celebrate, and be themselves. So, sweetheart, if you have been pouring in some other's cup till now, it's time to roll back and come home to your own self. And that's why the Arg is available. And I'll be waiting for you all if you all need me at Arg Unit. Thank you so much, FICCI, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Garima. Ladies, a big round of applause for these inspiring entrepreneurs. Now I invite our chairperson, CA Shweta Agrawal, Business League Head and FLO Indore Secretary, Ms. Sapna Khandelwal, along with our mentees, for the Business League certificate and badge. Turning ambition into action and building the support system for women in business. If today's pitches inspired you and you dream of standing here next, connect with FLO Business team. Take that first step and your journey starts now. Thank you. Over to you, Vaishali.
अब आता है वो मोमेंट जिसका हम सब इंतज़ार कर रहे थे. Before we welcome our star guest, let's take a minute to watch up this short promo reel. थोड़ा उनकी जर्नी की झलक, थोड़ा उनके ब्रिलियंस का एहसास. Our guest is coming in. May I know who is fan of Mr. Suhel Seth? You? In females, in Floites? Yes. So everyone is a fan of his one-liners, correct? So can anyone say one-liner of his, if anyone remember? Anyone? He's famous for his one-liners. No problem. So I think you all are set with your questions to ask him. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, a name synonymous with intellect. दुनिया के कामयाब लोग जीवन में कुछ बोलते हैं तो डायलॉग नहीं, एक्सपीरियंस और इंसाइट्स होते हैं. A very warm good afternoon, Mr. Seth. We are delighted to have you with us. I invite Ms. Rachna Tiwari from Melange Curation for floral welcome. Before we dive into the roller coaster of wit and wisdom, let's rise together for National Anthem, a reminder of the pride and unity that binds us all.
Dreamers, builders, leading the way, empowering women every day. Step up strong, let the world know we are the fire, we are the glow. Innovation, passion in what we do. FICCI FLO, we breaking through. Ideas spark and dreams take flight. We create the future shining bright. A sisterhood with hearts so true. Together we rise, we'll see it through. From dreams to action, watch us soar. Breaking barriers, opening doors. With every step, we show the way for a brighter and equal day. And equal day. And equal day. Step up strong, let the world know we are the fire, we are the glow. Innovation, passion in what we do. FICCI FLO, we breaking through. We breaking through. We breaking through.
In this phenomenal event, may I invite all dignitaries to join us on stage for the auspicious lamp lighting. Esteemed guest, Mr. Suhel Seth, Chairperson, Ms. Shweta Agrawal, Past Chair, Ms. Payal Agrawal, along with Senior Vice Chair, Ms. Vandana Gujarati. At Flow, when we light a lamp, we don't just remove darkness, we add glitters. Thank you. They say gratitude is the finest form of appreciation. Let's honor brilliance with love and respect. A special gift of Akshob Veda Ayurveda Wellness and Lifestyle Products for a Healthy Life by our own past chair, Ms. Payal Agrawal. Thank you. Moving ahead, it's time to unveil the latest edition of Flow Connect. This is more than a magazine, mirror of our journey, our impact, and our aspirations. A big round of applause, dear. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. हर इवेंट फ्लो का एक गाइडिंग फोर्स होता है. So let's hear from the dynamic leader who is shaping Flow 25-26 with vision and purpose. Please welcome Captain of the Ship, our chairperson, CA Shweta Agarwal. Let's give her a big round of applause. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Vaishali. Good afternoon, everyone. They say opportunity knocks once, but I believe opportunity doesn't knock, it whispers. And Flow is that whisper, a space where ideas, networks, and possibilities are waiting for you. But only if you choose to listen, and more importantly, act. As I stand here today, I just don't see members. I see changemakers, women who can rewrite narratives, break ceilings, and create impact. The question is, are we ready to claim that power? This year, our theme is Flow with Purpose. And purpose isn't just a word on invites. It's a way of showing up. Every event, every conversation, every initiative we design is meant to go beyond a good afternoon. It's about equipping you with tools of growth, influence, confidence, and leadership. But here's a truth we all should own. Flow is not a magic wand. It's a platform. It will work only if you work at it. It will change your life if only you step up and use what it offers. So let me ask you, when was the last time you walked out of an event and applied one idea in your life and business? When was the last time you went out of the hall and called a member and said, let's collaborate? If your answer is, it's been a while, then today is your day. Because the true power of flow isn't in simply attending. It's in engaging, contributing, and owning this platform. And when we do that, look what we create together. The past few weeks are a proof. The grand finale of Startup Spark, where ideas turned into action and student entrepreneurs pitched with purpose. A powerful mental health awareness program that reminds us success is hollow without well-being. Spark book reading session on the book Let Them Theory, where we didn't just read, we performed. A creative skit by our Spark Initiative members brought its wisdom to life. Our marathon and coffee rave, because wellness isn't just a conversation, it's a commitment. A jewelry styling workshop with Punjabi Saraf, a masterclass in upgrading style with substance. Our MSME event on National Pension Scheme, giving flowpreneurs the financial edge they need for a secure future. Each of these wasn't just an event, it was a doorway, but a doorway only matters if you walk through it. And at Flow, we want every doorway to open with real possibilities. And that is why, if you have noticed, today near the registration desk, we have created a networking arena with dedicated representatives from our Kiri initiatives and Sparks. If you couldn't explore them earlier, please, I encourage you to take few minutes after the session and look at it. This is your chance to discover how each initiative can add real value to your journey. So you never miss an opportunity, an experience, or even an event designed specially for you. And now, let's turn the volume up. September is about to be bigger, bolder, more powerful. Here's what's lined up. 8th September, reverse mentoring, because growth is a two-way event. 12th September, business case study, real problems, real solutions, real learning. 15th September, Flow Nautica retreat, where leisure and learning will meet on waters. 19th September, FLO Indore as a session sponsor at IMA Women Conclave, a day dedicated to business, leadership and networking. A truly transformative experience awaits with limited seats, registrations open tomorrow. It's on a first come, first serve basis. Do fill in the Google Forms. Don't miss this day of learning. 23rd September, we are celebrating Ayurveda Day under the Medical Kavach scheme. 26th September, we are coming up with a MSME event helping flowpreneurs scale their business. Every date is an opportunity to learn, to connect, and to lead. Let's make September the month of action and transformation, because when women show up with a purpose, change follows. This year, my vision is non-negotiable. No passive membership. Flow is your space to unapologetically invest in yourself. Connect, learn, grow, and reinvent. Flow is not just a membership, it's a movement. And every movement needs movers. You have influence, you have ideas, you have power. Let's give them a purpose. So make this year where you don't just show up, you participate, collaborate, and transform. Because here's the truth, Flow will give you back exactly what you put into it. So dream big, ask big, and act bigger. And now, speaking of big ideas, some speakers share thoughts, but a rare few spark revolutions in how we think. Today we are honored to have one such mind with us. When brilliance meets boldness, conversations turn into movements. It's an absolute privilege to welcome the dynamic, unapologetically bold Mr. Suhel Seth, a name synonymous with ideas that matter. Ladies, this is our time. Let's not whisper change. Let's roar with purpose. Flow is your platform, your power. Use it and watch what happens. Because at Flow, we don't just show up. We show up with a purpose. And now, together, we turn this purpose into power. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta, for your insights. So we have our National Head, Women in Tech, and past Chair, Ms. Mamta Bakliwal, also with us. Thank you, Mamta ji, for joining us. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the highlight of the evening is undoubtedly our very special guest, Mr. Seth. To introduce him, may I call upon Ms. Ginny Chabra, Head of Social Initiatives and Book Reading Session 25-26. Ginny, over to you.
Thank you, Vishali. Picture someone who walks into a room, not just owning the Wi-Fi, but the conversation too. That's Suhel Seth. A rare blend of many hats. Advertising professional, author, columnist, actor, entrepreneur. He is regarded as one of India's sharpest minds with an equally sharp tongue. He co-founded Ecus Advertising and went on to establish Consulage India, a firm advising India's top corporates and CEOs. His weekly columns in leading newspapers are known for their biting wit and fearless commentary on business, politics, and society. As an author, his books Get to the Top and Your Face reflect his unapologetic voice. On television, debates, his razor-edged arguments are as entertaining as they are thought-provoking. He has even lent his presence to cinema and theatre, with memorable appearances in films like Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. Admired for his intellect, respected for his honesty, and known for his unmatched humor, Suhel Seth is more than a commentator. He is an institution. He turned branding into performance, commentary into theatre, and life itself into a story we cannot ignore. Ladies and gentlemen, love him, debate him, or quote him. You simply cannot overlook him. Please welcome Mr. Suhel Seth. Mr. Seth, please come.
There are enough papers here to start a university. Good evening, ladies and the very few unwelcome gentlemen who've gate crashed an evening in which they will not play any role, and then go back home and say, but we took you there. I was asked to talk about women and entrepreneurship. I think I'll divide this because I don't have a PowerPoint presentation ever or a prepared speech ever. So I want to divide it into where I see the evolution of the Indian woman, and because of the evolution of the Indian woman, her role in India today, in India tomorrow, and more importantly, her role as an entrepreneur. Almost 20 years ago, I wrote an article where I said that if you were to calculate and put a salary of a very base order to every woman in India who's a homemaker, I hate the word housewife, you would be paying a base salary 20 years ago of about 25,000 rupees a month. Because that's the contributory value of women. I have always maintained that it is the woman who inspires, it is the woman who teaches, it is the woman who helps you read, helps you grow, helps you evolve. I unashamedly tell the world, and did tell them even then, that I lived with my parents till they passed. I never said they were living with me. I was always living with them. I was subservient to their needs. And I think if you aren't capable of loving your parents, you can't love anyone. Whenever I interviewed people for a job, I never asked them, which book have you read? What degrees have you done? I always asked them only one question. What did your mother or father have this morning for breakfast? And if they told me we are independent, I never hired them. Never. Unless, of course, they were dead. I mean the parents, not the interviewee. But I think over time, we have not understood the importance of the role that women must and can play. For years, when I sat on the advisory board of Citibank, I had a diminutive lady called Ela Bhatt, who was the founder of Seva, who sat with me. And there was Harish Salve, Bajpayee of the Life Insurance Corporation, Vijay Kelkar, me, and Elaji. And I can't remember any meeting in which the most significant contribution came from Ela Bhatt. It didn't come from any one of us, because there is an earthiness to women. There is a sacrificial grain in women that men lack. Men have an unmitigated ego, but they don't have the resolve to be compassionate. And compassion, to my mind, is the first step in empathy and understanding consumer behavior. So when women get into business, they get into business from a purpose of serving their customers, and through that serving society at a larger plane. When men get into business, they get into business for profit. You cannot profit without purpose. And the problem with a large number of industrial houses in India is they profit without purpose, because for them it is the balance sheet and not the human capital that they weigh. I was blessed to have a very long and perhaps the closest association with Mr. Tata, whose first death anniversary is on the 9th of October. And the last people Mr. Tata met before he passed was, at that point in time, my 4.5-year-old daughter and my wife. And I remember telling my child, who's named Gayatri, saying that you're blessed to have met a man of his decency and dignity. And that's what I want to begin with. Salim Khan, who sadly now is known as Salman Khan's father, once told me during a morning walk, when I asked him, I said, what is India's problem? He says, दो चीजें हैं, शर्म गायब है और माँ गायब है. तो I said, शर्म क्यों गायब है? He saying, सुहेल साहब, जब पुराने ज़माने में किसी स्मगलर के घर से गुजरते थे तो हम कहते थे ये देखो स्मगलर है, और हम निंदा से बात करते थे. आज जब हम किसी स्मगलर के घर से गुजरते हम बोलते हैं कि देखो कितना आलीशान घर बनाया है. He's saying that change in temporal behavior is what ails India. And when I asked him, I said, आपने माँ के बारे में क्यों बोला? He said, एक ज़माना था कि माँ बोलती थी कि बेटा झूठ मत बोलो, पर आजकल जब फ़ोन आता है माँ की दोस्त का तो माँ ही बेटे को बोलती है बोल दो मैं घर में नहीं हूँ. Now, it's not about the ma, but it's about the weightage that a mother has in terms of teaching her child. No matter what anyone might say, you know, all this baloney about single parenting, you know, equal gender and families being equal, modern day fatherhood, nothing can escape the love, the guidance, and the care of a mother. And when you translate that into business, into entrepreneurship, you will always look after your people. You will always look after your customers. And there's an old saying that I've always used, and I've told people, young people and old, that if you don't look after your customers, your competition will. So it's very important in this whole dynamic of women entrepreneurship to understand where we're headed and where this country is headed. I have a great optimism in the progress that India will make. I believe that in Narendra Modi we have a good Prime Minister who means well. I hate all political parties, so I don't care about the BJP or the Congress. At one level they're all rascals, so that's their problem. But you need good men in pole position, as you need good women. I know a lot of people in the BJP and in the Congress hate Mamata Banerjee, but I can tell you her heart is in the right place. She may sound unhinged, she may seem maniacal, but I know that she will do well, and she is doing well for the state. Calcutta has never been cleaner, more orderly than under her. None of these jokers, whether it was Jyoti Basu, Buddhadev Bhattacharya, before him Siddharth Shankar Ray, they couldn't manage the city. I was privileged as a child to work every afternoon with Mother Teresa. And Mother Teresa only had one dictum in life. She says, I'm no one to elongate your life, but I can surely help you die with dignity. So when she took people off the streets, the dying lepers in those days, she gave them a death of dignity. The reason why I'm saying all these things is, unless we invoke compassion into what we do, unless we invoke empathy into who we are, we will never be able to understand two things. One is how societies must evolve and behave, and more importantly, how consumers will evolve and behave. So when you look at entrepreneurship, don't look at it as a word meant for workshops. Because you can be entrepreneurial when you run a home. You can be entrepreneurial when you raise a child. You can be entrepreneurial in the manner you conduct yourselves. And the problem is, we do not allow for inspirational leaders to come our way. We are always judging them on the weighing scales of power, fame, and influence. Which is why I have nothing against some of these, pockets of influence. But I think the way this country chases stardom and filmdom and, Bollywood and Tollywood and all these other woods, I mean, there has to be purpose. And I believe that the first thing that each one of you should do, whether it is for your lives or for your children's lives, is ensure that your children and your societal friends, your peers, read. India has lost its ability to be scholarly. You know, I'm 62, I read one book a day, but I've been doing that for the last 45 years. People laugh, it's fine. I'm not asking everyone to read one book a day. But we've stopped reading. We're so consumed by superficial knowledge. We're so consumed by being in the right place at the right time. And there is no right place. There is no right time. And there are no friends. Winston Churchill famously said, if you can count 5 people on 5 fingers of one hand as friends, it's a life well lived. We are unable to distinguish between acquaintances and friends. We are unable to distinguish between peers and peer pressure. We are unable to distinguish, and we have now made it a fashionable statement to discuss religion in public. Religion was never meant for public discourse or public discussion. For those who practice and are Hindus, Hinduism is a way of life. Hindutva is an ideology. The Quran doesn't teach you to kill. Anyone who tells you Islamic jihad, like Lal Krishna Advani said, is criminal-minded. Because jihad is an invitation to die. It is sacrificial in nature. Would you say that sati was an invitation to kill? No. It was a terrible thing. But it was an invitation to die because you couldn't carry on your life without your loved one. But these things have escaped India. The reason is because we are not understanding how important scholarship is. And the problem is, हमने पढ़ाई को knowledge के साथ जोड़ दिया है. पढ़ाई पढ़ाई है और knowledge knowledge है. There's a difference between पढ़ाई and ज्ञान. और जब ये चीजें आप नहीं परखोगे, and you can't differentiate between these two, there'll be trouble. I'm no one here to tell you how to run your businesses. All of you are part of Flow, so you must be paying shitloads of money to be here. So obviously you're doing well. Or your partners are, or your companies are. Or with Mukesh, or with Gautam, with any one of these people, I'm seeing how women are taking on critical leadership roles. The Chief Operating Officer of India's most valuable company, TCS, is a lady. Whether you say because they are children, not children, I have seen how Neeta has transformed Reliance Foundation. Now, everyone may not agree with, public appearance, this appearance, that it doesn't matter. The problem is we've started spending too much of time on the non-essential. And the non-essential has become the essential has just disappeared. When was the last time you actually went to someone's house for dinner where you came back enriched? We don't. We have become competitive even when we go to dinners or invite people for dinners. You weigh the success of your dinner as to how many important people came. There is no one important. The day you believe you must invite important people, you are actually degrading yourself in terms of self-esteem. Every person who walks through your door for a meal at your invitation is as important as the next. But we don't do that. We say, this person is important because he's a politician, or he's a bureaucrat, or he's someone in the police. The second is, we have become a scared society. I don't know why. You will only need to be scared if you've done something wrong. And the answer is, how can you live clean in India? Of course you can. There are millions who live, but they are unsung heroes or heroines. The problem is we have taken it too easy upon ourselves to do what Anand Mahindra stupidly called jugaad. It was the worst contribution of Anand Mahindra, and I've told him on his face. And I'm now writing a book which has been commissioned why India is, but I can't use the F word in total, but that's the title of the book. And I'm starting by saying that this concept of jugaad has totally negated Indian innovation. This thing कि भाई जुगाड़ से हम लोग कर लेंगे. We are not a highway. We cannot have bypasses. You have to have rigor. You have to have hard work. You cannot have a situation where because you know some stupid chief minister or one of his hoodlums that you get a license and then, say that, oh wow, look at the businesses I've built. And we have become scared of powerful people. But they're not powerful. A bully is essentially a coward. But we're all scared. पता नहीं हमारा क्या कर लेगा, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Because ultimately the truth always triumphs. It may take ages. And this whole Hinduism thing of karma in the next birth, no. If karma has to bite you, it will bite you in this birth. So don't imagine that you'll have to wait for another birth to have karma bite you. And my problem is that we are always postponing the inevitable. And the inevitable is very simple. You have to lead your life with courage. You have to lead your life with conviction. And you have to lead your life with compassion. Courage, conviction, compassion have to be the troika on which every human life must be built. You may make mistakes, and all of us do. When you're entrepreneurs, when you're single citizens, individuals in public life or not. But the question you need to ask is, did I make that mistake with intent to harm? George W. Bush Jr., when asked about weapons of mass destruction, many years after he demitted office, he said, the decision in hindsight was wrong. But when I took it, I took an informed decision based on what I was told. And many of us make incorrect decisions because we are not perfect. The other problem is that we have this desire to seek perfection. There is no perfection. But that doesn't mean you stop trying. That doesn't mean you stop being anal about being perfect. We take so many people for granted. We take our families for granted. We take our children for granted. We take our parents for granted. We believe that we can wing our way. हाँ, गाड़ी चल जाएगी. गाड़ी तो चलेगी. पहिए हैं, पेट्रोल है, चलेगी. पर कौन सी दिशा में जाएगी वो तो आपको तय करना है ना. Disha has to be determined by you. This whole nonsense of, oh, the journey is important. The journey is never important. Because the journey you will complete. But where are you headed? Robert Frost, the poet, said brilliantly when he says, there were two paths in the woods and I took the one less traveled by. But we don't take the less traveled by because we want comfort. We want approval. And let me tell you, there is no such thing as approval. आपको जो भी कहे कि yeah, I'm the approving authority, there is no approving authority. There is no God either. I mean, if any of you have seen God, raise your hand. I haven't. But I'm not decrying the fact that you believe in God. But to attribute actions based on, oh, Bhagwan ne mere ko kaha hai. No. We must become responsible for our actions. And the point is we abrogate responsibility to an unknown force saying, nahi, ye to Bhagwan ki deen hai. Have you seen the Indian issue? If an Indian dies in an accident, his family will say, ye gaadi chalane wale ne marwa diya. But if he's saved, he will thank God. Why don't you thank the driver? Think about it. So we even use God as crutches. Most Hindus who go to temples actually create a transactional relationship. अगर मेरी मन्नत पूरी हुई मैं फिर आऊंगी. क्यों? Now we have started bargaining with God. Forget bargaining for bengan and aloo and matar. Today we are a society that even bargains with God. भाई अगर मेरे को ये मिल गया फिर मैं आऊंगी. So these are some of the simple truths that you must bear in mind when you start or are in business. And when I say scholarship, I mean serious reading. The ability to be predictive. Today, you people have more knowledge at your fingertips than we ever did in those times. You couldn't Google, you couldn't do. But again, that's lazy knowledge. I have never Googled a human being that I'm supposed to meet. Because why should I allow an algorithm to color my judgment? I will meet the person without determining what that person is or who he is or what he's done. We don't spend time talking to people. We talk at people. We don't have conversations anymore. The salon is dead, and I don't mean hair. I mean conversational salon, where people actually come and discuss. There was a reason why we had baithaks ek zamane mein. Today you ask the young about Indian classical music, no clue. But you tell them what did that Arijit or whatever, Avijit or whatever the singer's name is, they'll tell you, this is the song. No one will know Gulzar Saab for his insightfulness. But people say, ye to Bollywood ke liye lyrics likhte hain. Who's India's poet laureate? We don't have one. We don't even remember what Indian classical music's contribution to Indian cinema, which we so lovingly love. We don't even know the contribution of Indian classical music to the music that was created 40 years ago. Even in my introduction, you'll mention Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. It's the worst thing I've done. I work with Satyajit Ray, with Mrinal Sen, but they don't compare. And I told Zoya, I said, this is the tragedy of India. You will remember for Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, but you will not remember for Mrinal Sen. You will remember when people are being insulted, but you will never remember when you speak good of them. And William Shakespeare said it beautifully in Julius Caesar. The good is oft interred with the bones, the evil lives long after. Now, आप लोगों को पूछिए शेक्सपियर के बारे में, वो भी नहीं मालूम. बॉम्बे यूनिवर्सिटी ने शेक्सपियर को शोभा डे के साथ रिप्लेस कर दिया है. तो चलिए और देश बढ़ाइए. Now, if this is the tragedy of knowledge, then don't expect a school and college to train your children or to train you. You have to seize knowledge yourself. It is not a buyable proposition that you can go to a store and buy. And I'll take names, I don't care. Anil Agarwal of Vedanta, in his house in London, once I told him, I said, don't put the glass, the soda glass on your books. Chaliye, ye coaster hi hai. This is how you treat books. His interior designer went and bought his books. And he's not alone. This is what is happening to the new rich, the new elite. And that is why Salim Saab's words are relevant. कि जब आपको चीज़ों की value नहीं पता, if you don't have that tamiz and that tehzeeb, what will you do? And my appeal to you and to this really interesting gathering is that there is no one path. There is no right path. I can't come here and tell you, oh, please do this. I'm not Vasudev, Jaggi Vasudev or Sri Sri. I can only tell you what works for us as human beings. You know, we look up to gurus. Why? Because we believe they have knowledge, which I'm sure they do. And they have experience. But you cannot abrogate your entire mind and serve it on a platter at the feet of some guru. Because then what kind of human being are you? Then you might as well be a social security number. How do you contribute? We have stopped speaking truth to power. We are scared of ministers and these other jokers. You know, yesterday on television I said openly, I said we've got scoundrels like Naib Singh Saini and ML Khattar running this country. I don't care. Because let them prove they're not scoundrels. The onus is on them. The onus is not on me. But someone needs to tell people where to get the hell off. Otherwise, there will be mayhem. And there is, I have said, this is no longer the Republic of India. This is the Republic of nexuses. Builder, developer, politician, police, IAS. All rascals mile hue hain. And the citizen too, because the citizen is also bribing. You want a license early, you will bribe. You know, we have a place in Goa, and not one blade of grass is illegal because I'm abusing the government every day, and I want to abuse the government every day. And I send the architect for the normal clearance. And I was asked for a 7 lakh bribe. And then when I came on the phone, I said, what is your name? He said, whatever, whatever, whatever. I said, you switch on the television tonight at 9 p.m. Do you have children? He says, 2. I said, make them also watch. I want them to know that their father is an absolute crook. Got it? Now people say, oh, because you have the access to television, so do you. Instead of putting up some silly reels, prancing around in some restaurant, you might as well put up a reel saying that this fellow asked me for a bribe. But we won't do it. Because fear has been injected into us. We have been told that, oh, the system will react. We are the system. Where is the system? The system is not in orbit. So my final, because I was given half an hour, my final comments before we do a Q&A is that you have to take charge of your own destiny. There is no destiny waiting to discover you or rediscover you. You have to start speaking truths to power. It'll be difficult, but trust me, you'll sleep well at night. And I will end with one thing. You know, The Economist started a series on great minds across the world. And the first person they interviewed was Mr. Tata. And I was sitting with him. It was in the Mansingh in Delhi. And the last question by Simon Long to Ratan was, how do you define success? Mr. Tata looked at him, and he was always a shy, diminutive speaker. A good night's sleep. Did he say, oh, मेरे को ये करना है, वो करना है, ये करना है? Why a good night's sleep? वो हिंदी में कहावत है ना, घोड़े बेच के सोना. When you haven't harmed anyone, when you haven't done anything which is contrary to what is expected of you as a human being, sleep well at night. The problem is we are so manipulative most of the time. And that's why, and I will end because that's my favorite, Brutus stabs Caesar. And when asked by Mark Antony, why did you stab Julius Caesar? He said, it's not that I loved Caesar less, but I loved Rome more. So sometimes we have to do things for our country and for our family. And Mark Antony repays the favor at the end of Julius Caesar when he says, this was the noblest Roman of them all. The elements were so mixed in him that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this was a man. So I'm saying it's time to become the epitome of a good woman and a good human being. Perfection is not what you should seek. Goodness is. Thank you. Yeah, so,
Hello, good afternoon, sir. I am Dr. Aditi Gorawat. I'm from Calcutta, and my earliest memories were reading Graffiti, and the column that you used to write was called Survival Strategies. And you spoke about fearlessness, and I believe my eyes opened to fearlessness through that, and you were the face that I must have seen as a public figure, because it was etched in my memory that to this date, I still remember your responses to all the personal problems, and they would always be offbeat or, just giving it straight on or bang on. It doesn't matter, who the person was, and if the culprit was even the parent, or you would just give it. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But remember, I got multiple legal notices.
I'm sure.
One from the Chartered Accountants Association, who I called a bunch of crooks. I still maintain that. Then from the Ashoka Hall Girls' School principal, because I said the Ashoka Hall is not what it used to be since the Birlas had messed it up. Yeah, I got sued quite often. I mean, legal threats, but nothing substantial. Yeah, ITC sued me for 800 crores. So there was a judge in Bangalore who called the ITC chairman and me to his chambers and said, "Why are you harassing this young man? You know, he speaks the truth." So he says, "Do you want me to dismiss the case or do you want me to put costs on you?" So the case was dismissed. It's always important to keep lawyers as good friends.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much for coming here and motivating all of us. I am sure everyone here sitting must be thinking, "Ye time kitna kam mila aapke saath." So, sir, we have gone through a lot of your work and all, and even your talks with Sir Ratan Tata. So I just need to understand, how do you make those connections and continue with those connections, especially when we know that we are so truthful, and at times, if I talk about myself, when I come into this work thing, then when I am making any sort of connections with my clients, I'm more into emotions and truthfulness, and that sometimes backfire me. So I just need to understand, how do we differentiate between the clients and the friends, and how do we carry this truthfulness and not going out of our emotions?
I think that's a very good question. So I have to thank my parents for that. They allowed me to be almost bluntly rude. They never prevented me from saying what I felt, as long as it was decorous. And I've written about it in Get to the Top. And I'll again go back to what I said, because that's important. If you're interested in many things, you will always be interesting to people. And I was always interested in people who were much older. And I never looked for a connection. You look for a connection when you want a phone line. The word networking is something I hate. I always looked for relationships. And when you ask for nothing in return, your relationship is even more solid. And when you're interesting, and I'll give you an example. One of my closest friends until his death was R.K. Lakshman, the cartoonist. Every evening in Bombay, for 3 years that I lived in Bombay, he would come to my house. He would walk from Anand Vihar to Palasimon Beach Candy. And we'd sit for 2, 3, 4 hours every evening. Now people would say, "Are, you've been invited to this party or that party or this." My idea was not to sit with R.K. Lakshman, but he was such great fun. He was witty, he was very insightful, and he was a nice human being. I don't know if you know, but I'm sure you know of him, Piyush Pandey. So I was a management trainee in Ogilvy. My salary was 650 rupees in 1990, and I went to Rusi Modi, who was then the chairman of Tata Steel. And remember, the chairman of Tata Steel at that time was more powerful than the Ambanis, Adanis, Birlas put together. And I went to his office, and I told his secretary, "I need to meet Mr. Modi." She says, "Who are you?" I said, "Exactly." I said, "Only he will understand." So Mr. Modi came out to go to the loo. So I told him, I said, and I never said sir. I said, "Mr. Modi, she is preventing me from meeting you, and I think it's your loss." He says, "What? Come in." We pitched for the business. We got the business. I left advertising. Until his dying days, I kept my relationship. I needed nothing from him. If you remember, in 1992, on January 17, his 75th birthday, earlier on his birthday, there were 300,000-400,000 people. Because everyone knew that he was leaving the next day, ye hamari, kya main bolun? This is our fitrat. There were only 7 of us in his house. And I was still working for Ogilvy. And next morning, my presentation was to Jamshed Irani, who was the new MD. And Irani asked me, "I believe you were at dinner last night." I said, "Yeah, at Mr. Modi's house." "How do I know you'll be loyal?" I said, "Actually, you don't." I said, "I'll never be your friend or loyal to you." And Mani Iyer, who was the MD of Ogilvy, is kicking me under the table, saying, don't, we lose the business. I was getting 650 rupees, so I don't care. But till the very end, and if you remember, Mr. Modi and Mr. Tata had a huge fight. And then in 2008, I took Rusi and Kashyap to meet Mr. Tata in Bombay House, where they both hugged, there were tears, and they resumed their friendship. Mrinal Sen, every evening, he, Satyajit Ray, and I would meet at a place called Shutripti in Calcutta, Goriahat Crossing. Now, you might say that, Arey, how did you get to meet them? I met them like I meet all of you. Arun Jaitley I met because of Modi. Modi was my briefing client when I handled Vajpayee's campaign. Vajpayee's campaign I handled because Nasli Wadia called up Martin Sorrell. Martin said he will handle Vajpayee's campaign. It's a strange, I can't say that, I know these people. And in 2008, when I was having dinner with Modi in Gandhinagar, and it's written, I've written about it in Financial Express, he said, Suhail bhai, kal kahan ja rahe hain? I said, Bombay. Tata sahab ko milenge? I said, haan. Unko boliye, Nano yahan le aaye. Next evening, I was having dinner with R&D and I said. And when Modi became Prime Minister in 2014, he told Jaitley, he says, all my friends have come to meet me except this guy. This year in April at the Republic Summit, he walks down, comes straight to me and says, kya ho gaya bhai, milte hi nahi ho. I said, jaise aap travel kar rahe hain, hum bhi travel kar rahe hain. Kab miloge? I said, soon. Then on June the 9th, Monday, he and I met. And, it was a lunch invitation, so I pretended that I'm on a diet and all because I didn't want to have vegetarian food. So I told Bowser, I said, I'll come there at 1. Kitna time lagega? He says, normally the PM meets people for 15, max 20 minutes. We spent 1 hour, 55 minutes one-on-one, and I had to ask to get up. And he says, the reason why I wanted to meet you is because you'll have no agenda. And obviously what I said is confidential, but I said everything that I would have normally said to him in due course. Because that's what people want. The biggest mistake we make is that people want to hear only good things. We all assume कि भाई, if you're meeting someone powerful, अच्छी बातें बोलो. No, they want to hear the truth. Because no one tells them the truth. Everyone is blowing smoke up there, you know what. So here, and these are learnings that treat people equally. The moment you treat someone specially, they will take advantage or they will disregard you. There was a dinner in Dubai, and Sheikh Nain and all these chaps were there, and Kamal Nath and I was speaking at the ABLF. And Sheikh Nain walked in, Kamal Nath, everyone got up. So he says, why aren't you getting up? I said, I only get up for 2 things. My parents and the national anthem. I don't give a toss about Sheikh Nain. He's not going to pay my bills. And it is not out of arrogance. It is certainly not out of arrogance. But now I can afford to be eccentric. But I was always eccentric. In that sense. So I don't think, A, you should look to make connections. You should have relationships. B, a non-quid pro quo relationship is the one that lasts. Everything else has a time limit.
Hello, sir. I'm Juhi. I'm a teacher by profession. And my dad really follows you. And I have been following you since your early days. So my question to you is a little out of the box. And I really don't know if this is the right place to ask this. I just want to know that do you think there's really a competition for Narendra Modi in the coming next generation of politicians? You think somebody can live up to the expectations that he has set up for the country? And what is the one learning that you have got from Ratan Tata that you can share with us? Thank you so much.
So let me answer the second one. Second one first. I'm not dodging the first one. I think Mr. Tata's only lesson was that he never taught you a lesson. Never. Whatever you wanted to take out, you took away. It was an ocean. You wanted to fish for trout, not trout, for salmon. You fish for salmon. You want to fish for, this thing ki bhai, आपने उनसे क्या सीखा? आप सिर्फ अपने पेरेंट्स से सीखते हो. You don't learn from anyone else. You know, people will tell you, मैंने ये सीखा, मैंने वो सीखा. We actually give ourselves too much of importance. We are nothing in the larger scheme of things. You know, people say legacy, legacy, legacy. If you're a Hindu, you'll be remembered for 13 days after you're dead because people can't drink and have non-vegetarian food. The day they can, they'll forget you. So don't think कि भाई मेरी legacy क्या होगी. Now to answer your first part. Other than Jawaharlal Nehru, India has never predicted a future prime minister. When Nehru died, Mrs. Indira Gandhi thought she'd become, Lal Bahadur became. He died, Indira became. Whose turn was it? Morarji Desai. When Indira left, Morarji became. When Morarji was ejected, then you had between Devi Lal, Charan Singh, Deva Gowda, Inder Gujral, Rajiv Gandhi, VP Singh. Narasimha Rao had packed his bags to go back to Hyderabad. He became. Then you had Vajpayee when it was actually Manmohan Singh's, when it was Advani's turn. Then you had Manmohan Singh, who no one imagined he'd be Prime Minister. Then in 2013, when Modi was announced, it was again Advani's turn. Modi became Prime Minister. So I can never tell you who will become Prime Minister. But he will be a tough act to follow. I can say that because this man has remarkable vision. And I've seen it from 1999. So I'm talking about a 26-year window. And, you know, one of the things I can share, you know, when I told him, I said, "To kaisa laga when you came?" Suhail bhai, 4,40,000 ki leakage thi. Sab band kara di. See, the guy is squeaky clean because he has no family. There is no, you know, there is no reason to be corrupt. I mean, that doesn't mean people with families have to be corrupt, but you know where I'm going. And in India, we are not builders, we are always builders of legacy. Even our philanthropy is with a motive. I don't want to name the guy. There's a particular chap who's removed his grandfather's name and put his own name for hospitals. What kind of a country? But these are the people we celebrate. You go to any award function, whether it's business or films, if you're in the hall, you'll get an award. It's the same jokers who win awards. And there must be a willingness to say no. The problem is we are always eager to please because we are worried, yaar, log kya sochenge? Bhai, log to sochenge hi. How do you want to be remembered? You shouldn't want to be remembered. Because you will never be remembered well. I mean, look at this country. Yaar. We are making Nehru and Patel fight every day. Both are dead. You're abusing Mahatma Gandhi. Dead. So, jo aapne kiya kuएं में गया ना? Who's remembering people? So, I'm saying, live for the moment. Prepare yourself for the moment. Because you could be run over, especially in our country, by a stationary bus.
Good evening, Mr. Seth. You just said a little while back, it's a virtue that you were brought up with this blunt honesty, I would say. And you have made a career out of
being blunt.
You have made a career out of what others are, they're resistant to say. But I would like to ask you this: if blunt honesty was profitable in India today, what a business? So would it be profitable, or it would need a bailout every quarter?
No, it will be profitable. I don't think so. That you'll suffer. And when you say bluntness, I'm equally blunt with my clients. You know, I only work with chairmen. Now, ideally, every chairman wants to be told that, oh, he's done the right thing. I'm sorry, I'm always contrarian. As recently as yesterday, I said that I'm surprised that India did not create brands and is now whining about tariffs. We didn't create international brands. Why the hell didn't we? Because we were lazy. All of you venerated Rahul Bajaj. All of India venerated Rahul Bajaj. He was the biggest licensed Raj proponent. What did the Birlas and those other chaps from Padmani, Doshis, do for you? They gave you a car in which everything made a noise except the horn. You had to wait for years for a scooter. So these were the people you venerate. So I have no sympathy for Indian industry getting screwed over tariffs. I have sympathy and empathy for the labor that will lose its jobs. Now everyone wants a bailout from the government. Why should the government bail you out? I've always said, and he's a friend of mine, but I've said the government of India has no business to bail out Vodafone, and I have a Vodafone connection. Why should the government of India bail out Kumar Mangalam? If they can't run the business, shut it down. Why should I as a taxpayer pay for someone else? You know, we have to take hard decisions, but we sometimes don't want to say it because there are lobbies, there are groups, there are associations. I mean, with due respect, FICCI, I mean, most of these are event management companies. They're not, you know, articulate lobbies. Your think tanks are corrupt. What do you do? See, I keep saying these things hoping they'll never invite me, they still do, and that's the problem. The amount of associations I've abused, and they keep inviting you, and sometimes I feel, अब इसके बाद तो कभी नहीं करेंगे, और फिर आ जाता है न्योता. Yeah.
Mr. Seth, now that we have invited you and you're here, we would, and you've been known for your very honest and witty responses and especially one-liners, I have a question for you. If women leaders or entrepreneurs, like us, I would say, asked you for branding tips, what would be your first advice?
That you can't afford me.
I can give you a choices. I mean, I have 3 choices for you.
No, I don't need 3 choices. This is not a SAT. I'm telling you straight that you can't afford me.
No, but because you're here, you have to answer the question.
That is Shashi Tharoor. I don't have to do anything. He needs to win an election. I don't.
But
I love that. See, emotion in my book always is subservient to logic. You can beat me on logic, but emotion, oh, you have to, I don't have to do jack. I've even got my boarding card.
So if you answer, we won't be calling you next time.
Beautiful. But again, I won't fall for that bait. No, but ask.
Okay. So I have 3 choices for your witty answer. I'm waiting for that. So what would be your advice? Wear a power suit, or sharpen their pitch, or just ignore men's unsolicited advice?
My advice to you is, when you ask a question in a forum such as this, don't read from what you've written. I'll tell you why. There's a reason for that. Many years ago, and I don't know if you've ever read him or followed him, the most amazing mind of the 20th and 21st century was a gentleman called Jiddu Krishnamurti. Diminutive, beyond brilliant. And today some of his videos are available. I urge you to see them. There's a book which Pupul Jaika wrote on him called The Seer Who Walks Alone. So it was a similar gathering like this in Calcutta many, many, many years ago, where Jiddu Krishnamurti finished speaking. And as he finished, one hand went up. And he smiled. And he said, yes. Before the person could ask, he says, you don't have a question. You want me to question your answer. That's it. But again, you know, I'm no one to tell you which choice, which I think ultimately, okay, I'll be honest, I could never have run a business. You know, if you ever told me to run a factory and all, because I would, you know, slap the district magistrate or some factory inspector or something like that. So I'm not cut out for it. And I salute people who run large businesses and factories and all that because of the amount of crap that they have to deal with in our country. And when they make a success of it with even 80% ethicality, I salute them. And that's the problem with India. We've made it difficult. You know, my whole rant about Gurugram was not about Naib Singh Saini and all those other jokers. It is why should an Indian citizen, no matter whether he's privileged or not, why should we be deprived of a basic dignity living standard or a dignified living standard? Because we've allowed ourselves to be run by these jokers. And we are the ones at fault because we vote them. And we vote them not on the basis of what they do, but on the basis of what they say. And half the country is voting on religious lines, which is why they're getting screwed. You see, religion is meant to be personal. When you make a public spectacle out of it, and now people say, oh, but Indira Gandhi started it, Mamta is appeasing. It's irrelevant. You can't be competitive in stupidity. And that's why I think Modi has his heart in the right place, because he talks about development. But his party, there are many idiots within the BJP and the Congress who keep, talking rubbish about religiosity and making personal attacks. It serves no one's purpose. And, when you don't have anything intelligent to say, you recourse to abuse. If you have something intelligent to say, you will either use wit, satire, sarcasm, humor, or logic.
Hello, Mr. Seth. This is Shweta, and I'm an educator and a counselor, and I must tell you that it's an absolute delight to listen to you today and to be hearing Shakespeare and the quotes that you have said. It's really a pleasure. My question to you is that in these uncertain times when there is so much of disruption happening everywhere, and in terms of economic crisis, technological changes, and global uncertainties, when we are dealing with young adults and children, what would you recommend that how should they become relevant and resilient in today's times? So something for the young minds now.
So let me tell you, worrying never solved a problem. Do you drink alcohol? You do, right? My advice to you, go home every evening, have 3 glasses of wine and imagine the world is perfect. I don't drink alcohol, but I have other, I read and go to sleep. So stop worrying कि भाई देश का क्या होगा, पृथ्वी का क्या होगा, दुनिया का क्या होगा. Aerodynamically, India is like the bumblebee. The bumblebee is not supposed to fly, because of its size. But the bumblebee doesn't know that. It flies happily. India will also succeed. By now, we should have failed about 1 million times, but no one cares. I said, much to everyone's anger at times, I was invited to go to Ayodhya, for that inauguration of the temple. And I said, A, I was not interested. And B, I said, finally, we are thanking the guy who's been running the country. This country is Ram Bharose. Finally, you're thanking him. Good. So obviously, a lot of people go, oh, no, don't get upset. They get upset. Just don't worry. Worrying has never solved any problems. And no one has made you the great reconciler of the human faith कि भाई आपके कंधे पे पूरी दुनिया की problems रहेंगी और आप ही solve करोगे. In fact, you're a sweet person, but counselors are the most dangerous breed. Because they give advice to everyone when they themselves are gumrah. I've never seen a counselor who sorted. In fact, I think we should set up special counselors for counselors so that they can counsel properly. Now tell me, this is a joke, I don't mean it personally. You're a counselor. Now, suppose there are people here who are saying, मेरे को ये problem है, वो problem है, and now they've heard you, दुनिया खत्म हो गई है, पृथ्वी खत्म हो गई है, how will they come to you? They'll say, भाई इसको तो अपनी problems इतनी है, ये हमारी क्या solve करेगी? So my advice is, in public, never ask these questions. Always say everything is great. Because then they'll say, wow, if she's finding everything great, she must have a solution. So I'm doing free marketing for you.
Hello sir, myself Dipali Khandelwal, culinary expert and distributor of Wonder Chef.
What does culinary expert mean? Simple language में बोलिए ना. You're a good cook?
I used to take cooking classes.
You used to attend cooking classes or give cooking classes?
No, I used to give cooking classes.
तो यही बोलिए ना, culinary expert.
Oh my God.
Some chaps who are basic cooks call themselves grandmaster chefs. उनसे आप बोलो उड़द चने की दाल बनाने के लिए वो नहीं बना पाते. Okay, so now you're basically a person who teaches people how to cook. Okay, then?
My question is, in your book, Get to the Top, if you have to add one 11th rule today, what would it be?
That don't have any rules in life. The rules were added by the publisher, not by me. She added the word social networking, not me, because she said it'll sell. So it wasn't any intellectual thing, by networking rules. No one cares.
Hello, sir. You read one book a day. How do you do that?
With my eyes.
Absolutely.
When I'm awake. With my mind.
Absolutely.
And to quote Tagore, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high and the eyes are focused, you can read.
So the next question in the continuation was, how do you take out time?
That's the question. So I get up at 4:30. Now I'll give you my full day so that you're happy. So I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and from 4:30 to 7:30, the whole world could come crashing down. I will finish a book. It could be anywhere between 400 to 600 pages. 7:30, I go through. No, there's nothing to clap. You all must be doing yoga, beating up your husband, whatever that's. At 7:30, I read 14 newspapers. But I'm not saying I read every bit of junk. And nowadays it's very easy to read the newspapers because usme hai hi kuch nahi. Then I swim every day. Okay? I finish work at 12. 12:30 every day I have lunch. From 1:30 to 3:30 I sleep. From 3:30 to 5:30, I'm talking about if I'm in Delhi. If I'm in Goa, my entire time post Gayatri school is with her and my wife. But in Goa, we go to bed alongside Gayatri, which is about 6:30 in the evening. So all those television programs that I would do from Goa have to be pre-recorded. So the channels get screwed because one day, 3 channels recorded and all were showing me at 9 p.m. So someone asked, how can you be in 3 places at the same time? I said, it's called Mr. India. Yeah, I mean, they recorded it. They were stupid. They should have checked. So time you will always find. And I've always said, and Bertrand Russell actually said that, if you want to get something done, give it to the busiest man. Because the man who does nothing never has the time or will be late. आप देखो जिसके पास कोई काम नहीं है ना, he will pretend to be so busy. So anyone who tells you I'm very busy, just wink and say, obviously you're not doing very much. But you won't say it because you want to be popular.
A very good evening, sir. It's very interesting, but I want to just break this and go back to the thing that where you said that you've met Mother Teresa. My only question is, how was she as a person? Because, what image we have of her is a very soft and very loving, very kind, very caring person. But is it really possible to reach the height she has reached without, adding a bit of entrepreneurship kind of a role, or maybe a little being smart or something like that? Is it really possible in today's world to be as soft and kind and reach the level where she has reached?
But that's why she was Mother Teresa. Otherwise she would have been Jayalalitha. She was Mother Teresa for a reason. There was an aura, there was kindness, there was compassion. You know, why do you never say these things about Mayawati? Is she dead or alive? Mayawati is alive? Oh, good. Why do you not say things about Mayawati? So, you know, these are great people. And we are blessed. You know, people have talked rubbish. Oh, she indulged in conversion, she did this, she did that. You know, people, when they are unhappy and bitter, it's not a commentary on society, it's a commentary on themselves and their upbringing, where you find fault with everything. Oh, वो conversion करती थी, वो ये थी, वो थी. अरे आप 1/3 उनका काम कर लो, वो आप कर नहीं पाओगे, but criticism में आप लोग माहिर हो. She was a lovely, nice, brilliant woman. And brilliant, I don't mean intellectually, from the heart. And we should celebrate goodness. We have become such a cruel society that even in goodness we want to find fault. You know why? We want to equalize everyone. You cannot equalize people. You cannot drag people down to your level because you have not been able to rise. And that's the tragedy of India. We don't want to rise, but we want to pull everyone down. The day we change that equation, we'll be a great country.
Hello, sir. I'm Harneet Rana. I'm into education. Sir, I have a question. To be very honest, while listening to you, it was very vivid, it was very unfiltered. The experience we all had when we listened to Mrs. Sudha Murthy, I'm sure we all must have had an experience like this today. Because आपसे सुनने के बाद ऐसा लग रहा था कि हम घर के किसी बड़े को सुन रहे हैं, which was very close to her.
नहीं, I am nowhere near Sudha Murthy, भाई. I can't travel in business class. ये सब भगवान उनको भला रखे. I'm not, and I don't want to be Sudha Murthy because then I have to have Narayan Murthy as my husband who wants me to work 18 hours a day. Not my scene.
Okay, coming back to it, sir, since you mentioned about you having an opinion, and I've been following you about your opinion about the civil infrastructure when you mentioned about the Gurgaon and a lot of other things. I have been following the flood situations in India right now very closely. Our Indian Prime Minister, who is very close to your heart and to us as well, he has like the...
So what's the question?
Yeah, I'm coming to it. So, sir, I see an opinion happening around Afghanistan if the earthquake situation happening. I see an opinion around...
But nothing happening on Punjab. That's your question?
No, I'm coming to that. I see quantum cryptography opinion happening around Jaguar, but I don't see anything around the North India, not just Punjab.
तो एक कहो ना, पंजाब दी गल कर रहे हो ना तुसी?
Sir, actually...
Come to the point.
Yeah.
You know, why beat around? So, it's a very, very valid point. In fact, I said this on, I think about 5 or 6 days before that politics cannot vitiate the need for emergency services and relief to Punjab. Punjab is being battered. You have an irresponsible stand-up comic as the chief minister, who most of the time is drunk, and you have a government that is inept, and who's suffering the people. You know, Bernard Shaw used to say, when whales fight, shrimps are eaten. The citizen in Punjab today is ravaged. The agriculture process has been wiped out, and no one seems to care. So I totally agree with you, and I said this to Navik, I said this to Arnab also, that why the hell don't you all do programs on that? But now, you know, this is what it is. There's that saying, na, dur ke dhol. So we'd much rather worry about Afghanistan than our own people about 1,500 kilometers away. But I agree with you. I mean, it's tragic what's happening. Tragic. The NDRF has not been sent. Nothing. Nothing. That's why I'm saying elect wisely.
Hello, sir. Myself is Neki Tiwari. So my question is that when you write, how you choose your topics? Is it on the current events, or you write in a broader editorial mission? And second thing, you said you read a lot. So which book you love most and which you see, which you want to advise us that you should read?
As I told you, I'm no one to advise.
Okay.
Read everything.
Okay.
Read Manorama, read Shakespeare, read Shaw, read Premchand, read Dinkar. I'm no one to tell you, but read. The important thing is you must be able to disagree without being disagreeable. And in order to disagree, you must have an opinion. The opinion can't be formed on a whim or a fancy. It must be substantiated in scholarship. It must be anchored in scholarship. I may disagree with you, but I must have a point of view that I can present which forms that arc of disagreement. That is missing. And I forgot to tell you one more thing. I don't know what the schools in Indore are doing, but the standards are declining across India. Public speaking has gone out of the window. You don't have good public speaking anymore. You don't have debates anymore. You don't have elocution anymore. All these jokers are doing mimicry, creating reels and killing themselves. So unless you're able to communicate, unless you have a point of view which you can express or articulate, and that is a fundamental, that's a deep concern. And this is happening at galloping proportions in India. I'm not even going into linguistic skills or, command of language. I'm talking about basic reading, basic scholarship. That's an issue. Chalo ji, last question.
So, may I? Good evening, Mr. Seth. I'm Priyanka Mokshmar, and I own a company called Vayu, and I'm a first-generation entrepreneur. Learned a lot from my mistakes. And till now, I believe that I need to enjoy the journey of creating a brand. But today you said the targets must be there. I remember those early days when the hustles were there. I could not sleep in the night because of the loans and everything in my mind. But the moment I used to get good sleep in the night, I used to think that something is wrong. Something is not working. There's no problem. How could I sleep well? So I want to hear from you. What would you like to say for first-generation entrepreneurs who learn from their mistakes? How can they sleep well in the night? And when should I think that, yes, the brand has been made?
You will know when the brand is made. I can't tell you. There are some people who have revenue targets. There are some people who have reverence targets. There are some people who believe in market share. There are some believe, in just making societal impact. We have enough social impact studies. So it would be inappropriate and too braggish for me to say, this is the path. See, I just want to reiterate, and you have so many people addressing you guys. None of us is infinitely wise. So anyone who tells you this is the path, and aise karo, waise karo, we are all swimming in this quest for knowledge, this large ocean. And the day you think you know everything, you'll be dead. David Ogilvy used to famously say, you must have the ability to be divinely discontent. So divine and discontent. The day you're content, you're dead. But that doesn't mean greed. There's a difference between greed, avarice, and contentment. Contentment will get you sleep if Alprax doesn't.
Namaskar and a very good evening. What an extraordinary evening this has been. On behalf of FLO Indore, I, Vandana Gujarati, Senior Vice Chair, extend my deepest gratitude to each one of you for joining us today's Power Pack session. A special word of thanks to our guest speaker, Mr. Suhel Seth. Your candid insights on women entrepreneurship in New India were not only thought-provoking, but also inspiring, reminding us that courage, conviction, and clarity can truly shape the future. This evening would not have been possible without the generous support of our sponsors. Our patron sponsors, Punjabi Sarab by Floyd, Anuradha and Chital Anand, MV Patel by Manish Patel, and Jaguar, made in India for the world. Thank you for your unwavering support and trust. Our associate partner, Somya Vehicles by Shweta Pravesh Agrawal, furniture partner, Davina Furniture by Floyd Kopal Maheshwari, mobile partner Oppo by Ashwini Nagar, our celebration partners Home Cooks by Floyd Sonal Shamsukha, Adams L, and Cake by Floyd Neha Modi. Special mention to Melange Curations by Floyd Rachna Tiwari for facilitating this event. Creative partner Mango by Floyd Mansi Pahawa. Gift partner of the event Akshop Veda by our chairperson Payal Agrawal. Flow Connect by Floyd Priyanka Kothari from from Panjon Digital. A special thank you to our venue partner, the Park, for hosting us so graciously, and so to our media partners for amplifying Flow Indore's voice to the world. A heartfelt thank you to the committee for their tireless efforts behind the scenes. May I now invite committee and then sponsors to kindly join us on the stage for a group photograph. After that, I would request all our members to please join in for a collective picture with our guest. Let's continue the conversations over a warm and delightful high tea. Thank you once again to all of you for making this evening so memorable. Thank you.